What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel DC Comics Multiverse Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice Batman. And of course he is from the Collect and Connect series of the Grapnel Blaster replica. This is of course Batman in his Dawn of Justice look. Really excited to have the figure. On the side we have a nice picture of Batman and a read-up of Batman Superman. It reads, fearing the actions of a godlike superhero left unchecked, Gotham City's formidable, forceful vigilante takes on Metropolis' most revered modern-day savior while the world wrestles with what sort of hero it really needs. And with Batman and Superman at war with one another, a new threat quickly arises, putting mankind in even greater danger than it's ever known before. On the back, no other read-up, just what the grapnel gun will look like when it's all said and done. On the back, other figures of Wave 1 include Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Armored Batman. Figures 5 through 8 coming soon. Really excited to have those guys, so what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get them posed up, and then we'll move on to my final thought, or move on with the rest of the review, so sit tight everyone. And here we have Batman posed and out of the packaging. Now before we get on to Batman himself, he did come with his piece of the Collect and Connect grapnel gun. And let's actually tab that into place right here. You can see there's a peg hole there and a tab. And you just tab that in, lock it in, and there you go. You got a cool stand for the grapnel gun. Still disappointed that this doesn't come off, but I will find a way to get this off without breaking it. I promise you guys that. But that's what it looks like so far. Really looking forward to having a prop for a Collect and Connect piece. That's actually exciting for me. But anyway, here we have Batman out of the packaging, the Ben Affleck Batman, and overall I prefer this guy over the Comic-Con figure. If you saw my Superman one, I preferred the standard release versus the Comic-Con issue, and once again I have to give it to the standard issue. The Comic-Con figure isn't as good, and let's actually go on to his side by side so you can see what I'm talking about. And here we have both Batman from Dawn of Justice posed next to each other, and as you can see there is quite a bit of difference between these two. It's like night and day versus the Man of Steel Superman, or the Dawn of Justice Superman, where it was pretty hard to tell. This one you can see a lot of differences. The utility belt is one of the main differences. That this uses like a really dirty gold, and it just looks really worn out, and I do like that. Versus this really bright yellow utility belt. For classic Batman fans, that's cool, but for movie accuracy, you'd have to go with this Batman. And another thing is, I'm trying to figure it out, but the cowl piece on him looks much better than this one. This one has a really thin neck versus this one who has a really nice broad neck, and I'm guessing the plastic cape helps create that hunched illusion that Batfleck has. Oh, like I said, this one just looks like a much better figure than this one, and having them side by side, this one looks a lot like what we see in the promotional pictures, while this one is a little off, and I even pointed that out during my review of this one, that there was something off about the head. And let's actually go on to the head so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let's bring Batfleck up really fast. Now, they are using the exact same head sculpt. There's nothing different in the two, but just the way this neck piece is designed gives this the head much more of a full effect, as you can see. So while his head looked oddly proportioned, this one looks better and actually looks like what we've seen in promotional images. It still has that texture, unfortunately, which isn't carried in the cowl. Kind of wish that the texture was carried over, but even on the back of the cowl you can see how his has this really huge lip on it in the back, where his is not as noticeable. So if you had to choose between the Comic-Con issue and the standard issue, the only thing that the Comic-Con issue has are batarangs. This Batman has no accessories, which kind of sucks, honestly. let's actually zoom out because there's even more differences I want to point out that I brought up in the Comic-Con review. And it's dealing with the legs. Let's get the other Batman back out here. I don't know what it is with the legs on this one, but you can see that the legs aren't as wide as they are on this one. And they are the exact same sculpt, but this one seems to line up better than this one. You can see his feet are still pointing at this really weird angle, where this one is pointing at a much more natural angle. And I don't know what they did differently. I don't know if they retooled it or tweaked it or something, but this one stands better than this one. So, like I said, I gotta give props to this standard issue Batman, because essentially he is a much better figure than the Comic-Con one. The costume is also, on the Comic-Con one, has more of a blue tint. This one is like full-on gray. Let's actually just show that off one more time before going into detail. Also, how far the cowl comes down onto the cape, or onto the figure, is something to note, because looks like this one comes closer to the bat emblem than this one. This one has more of a metallic finish. This one is a little more flat, moving him off to the side. Like I said, just a really nice looking figure, and let's actually go on to some of his details. Let's stand him straight up really fast. Let's zoom in on that head sculpt, and like I said, the way the cowl piece is designed gives this guy a much better illusion to having a thicker neck, and like I said, it just works better going into the cowl and the head joint. It hides it a little better. I do like the way the cape comes over the shoulders. It doesn't drape over them, much like we see. And it actually has this hunch that the Ben Affleck Batman has, which I kind of like. I don't know why, but I don't ever see Batman standing up straight. He's more like hunched and menacing. The bat insignia still has that texturing on it. His gloves also have this texture, which I don't know if the texture is on his gloves. I think that's a choice Mattel made. I think they're more flat, like his gloves here. You can see he still has the brass knucks. Painted about the same. Moving down to his boots, they carry that same texture. And then more brass on his boots. It looks worn. I don't know if it's supposed to look that way or not. And then we get to his cape. Unlike most Batman capes, his doesn't have the points, and it's not flat like the Christian Bale Batman was. It looks worn. I'm not sure if it's going to look that way in the movie, but a lot of pictures I've seen, the cape looks worn, and maybe that gives it the points to it, but still strange seeing that it's worn out. It's not like purposely made for that shape. But anyway, let's move Batman back so we can go on to his articulation. Batman has a ball-jointed head. Can't look up as much as I want him to, and I think that's one thing the Comic-Con figure has over this one, is that the head doesn't move up as much. Head still looks left and right. Some really slight up and down movement. Arms on a ball joint go out to about that far. The joints on mine are really stiff. He does do a full 360. Like I said, it's just really stiff on my figure. He has a swivel in the bicep, hinge in the elbow, spins at the wrist. He has an ab crunch, which that's the only way you can have him looking up, is if he crunches abs. Otherwise, he has this permanent hunch on him, which I'm okay with. He has a waist swivel. Legs go forward to about there, go back, out. He spins at the knee. Nope, they didn't fix the swivel in his knee, so that's problem still there, that he still has this really strange angle, but that doesn't make sense. Why his legs don't point out as far as the other one. But single hinge in the knee, single hinge in the boot, no rocker, and that's what you get in terms of articulation. So what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, and we'll wrap up this review. So sit tight, everyone. And here we have the Dawn of Justice Batman pose for my final thoughts, and overall, Really nice figure, and if I had to choose the Comic-Con one or the standard issue, go with the standard issue Batman. This is a far superior figure. Like I said, the only advantage that the Comic-Con figure has is he came with batarangs, which this Batman didn't come with anything. However, I think the amount of detail in this Batman overshadows those 3 batarangs we got, because, like I said, he looks overall better. Better proportion. His legs don't have that same weird angles, and I don't know, I'm okay with the plastic cape. It doesn't make him too back heavy. I haven't had a problem standing him yet. I picked this Batman up at Walmart, and unfortunately, it looks like Batman is going to be warming the pegs, because I saw several Batman and several armored Batman. Saw 3 Supermen and no Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman is going to be a challenge to find. But if you can find this Batman and you're a fan of Batman, you're looking forward to the movie, or you're a fan of the Frank Miller Batman, which this is what the Dawn of Justice Batman is based off of, I highly recommend you get this figure. He's going to look wonderful in your Man of Steel display, your Dawn of Justice display, and this is King of Dragons 5000 saying, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel for other upcoming figure reviews and other good stuff, and I will see you guys later. Take care, everyone.